welcome to another episode of Plymouth's Hidden Railways. This time we leave the suburban sprawl of Plymouth behind and head out onto the moors. Come with us to explore the Yelverton to Princetown line. Dartmoor, one of Britain's most dramatic landscapes, once had a railway line running through its heart. From 1883 to 1956, this line connected Yelverton to Princetown. Today, whilst the tracks are gone, the stories of the line remain etched in the land. The Princetown branch line wasn't just a railway, it was a lifeline for communities living in one of the most remote and rugged parts of southwest England. The Yelverton to Princetown Railway was a bold venture into the wilds of Dartmoor. Opened in 1883, this 10.5-mile branch line snaked its way through the moorland, connecting remote communities and industries to the wider world. The challenge of building and operating a railway in such an unforgiving landscape were immense. Steep gradients, harsh weather, and relentless terrain. It wasn't just passengers who depended on this line. Granite from Dartmoor's quarries was transported along the tracks, contributing to some of the most significant construction projects in Britain, including the docks at Plymouth. Like so many rural lines, it couldn't withstand the pressures of modernisation. This is Tor Holt, one of the smallest and most remote stops on the line. It opened in 1928, serving mainly quarry workers and hikers who wanted to explore the moor. It's an image that captures the isolation and solitude that were part of life for many who travelled along this remote branch line. The platform here is nothing more than a small wooden structure with barely any shelter from Dartmoor's harsh weather.
This stretch of line is quite the engineering feat, with embankments, cuttings, bridges, and the gradient was steep. In some places, as much as 1 in 45. The little tank engines that plied this route had to battle not just the gradient and the terrain, but the elements, especially in winter. But they persevered. In fact, during the Second World War, this line increased in usage as more and more people were evacuated out of Plymouth to the surrounding areas. This line became more important. Sadly, though, that didn't last.
The route from Yelverton to Princetown was more than just a functional railway. It was a journey through one of Britain's most dramatic landscapes. The track climbed over 600 feet, crossing moorland, passing granite quarries, and threading its way between ancient tors. It was a route that demanded both engineering skill and perseverance, and for those who travelled it, the views were unparalleled.
It might look like I'm stood in the middle of a field. And technically you'd be right, but we're actually stood where the Princetown station once was. This is the site of the Princetown station. Not that there's anything left of it now, apart from the old station master's house, which is now a private dwelling. At just over 1,300 feet above sea level, it was one of the highest stations on the Western network. Built in 1883, it served as a vital hub for the community here, especially before the advent of road transport. In the winter times, often this was the only means to leave Princetown and the surrounding areas. But, as ever, the rise of road transport coincided with the decline of rail, and the often single carriage trains that came up here just weren't making any money. And so, in 1956, passenger services ceased, with freight following soon after.
Princetown Station also served the nearby granite quarries, which provided stone for projects like Plymouth's breakwater and even parts of the Houses of Parliament. But despite the line's importance, it faced constant challenges. The harsh Dartmoor winters frequently brought snow and ice, blocking the line and isolating the town. Princetown's story is deeply intertwined with this railway. The line brought thousands of visitors to Dartmoor, allowing them to experience its unique and rugged beauty. But with the rise of the motorcar, the line's role gradually diminished, with the last passenger train leaving Princetown Station in 1956, marking the end of this remote railway.
Though the track itself no longer remains, the essence of the line is still here. It's a part of the fabric of both Dartmoor and Princetown. And even now, although trains don't pass over here, some of the infrastructure is still in use, with walkers and cyclists enjoying the relatively smooth gradients that this line allows.
Though the tracks have long been removed, the story of the Princetown line remains deeply embedded in Dartmoor's history. The communities it served, the quarries it connected, and the stunning landscape it traversed all played a role in shaping the railway. Even now, as nature reclaims the land, the legacy of the line lingers, a reminder of a time when steam trains chugged through this wild and untamed moor. Thank you for joining us once again, and don't forget, if you've enjoyed this, do please like and subscribe.